Hi, OJ. I'm surprised people call me pastor now. But if they knew my past, they would never let me touch a Bible. I was part of a drug cartel in South Africa. I held a gun. I ate human flesh. I used charms made from human bones. I promised myself I had left that behind. Yet, here I am, running a fake healing on TikTok, deceiving people just to feed my family. I don't know if I'm closer to God now or even farther away. Sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror, I wonder if I am a man or just a shadow wearing flesh. I'm writing to you because I've watched the stories people share on your platform, and I see my reflection in their struggles. I also carry a story, one too heavy for my chest, and I need to unburden it. You see, people look at me today and they think I'm a pastor, a man of God, standing in front of cameras, praying for the sick, declaring prophecies and prosperity. But behind that suit, OJ, there is a past soaked in blood, drugs, rituals, and lies. Let me take you back, OJ. In 2018, I left Ghana with a Bible in hand. I had gotten a missionary visa through a South African church and thought maybe God had opened a door. I landed in Durban, working in the villages, preaching and volunteering. But volunteering doesn't pay school fees. I had a wife and children back home in Nigeria, and the hunger in their voices over the phone began to haunt me. That was when I met the brothers, other Ghanaians, Nigerians, some Zimbabweans, some Congolese. They told me plainly, Pastor, this country is not for slow people. You either hustle or you starve. You either control the streets or you go back home empty-handed. I ignored them at first, but then my visa expired. And hunger will make a man listen. By the end of the year, I was carrying a pistol in Johannesburg. No longer a man I thought I was. A pastor by day, a cartel boy by night. OJ, there are things I saw that would freeze my soul. In 2019, they took me to a house at 3 a.m. A red cloth covered the table, candles flickering, bottles of liquor around. They handed me a black plastic bag. Inside was meat, wrapped and raw. I thought it was beef, but no, it was human. Flesh from the thigh of a dead woman dug up from her grave. They spiced it with onions and pepper, roasted like suya, as we call it in Nigeria, and placed before me. My stomach turned, but they told me, the new one has no mouth. Eat or you join your grave. I chewed, OJ. The taste still lives in my mouth today like nightmares. That was my initiation. From there, everything changed. We moved kilos of drugs from Joburg to Cape Town, to Durban, even across countries and borders. But it wasn't only drugs, guns and money. It was spirits that ruled the game. Our ritualist, an old Nigerian, we call him Baba, would grind bones of the violently dead into powder. A pinch of that powder in your pocket, and you could walk into court with evidence stacked against you and still walk out free. I saw it with my own eyes. There was a day in 2020 when I was caught with 2 kilos in my car boot. My lawyer whispered, "We are finished." But in court, I had a powder in my pocket. The judge looked at me, cleared his throat, and after a few meaningless questions, dismissed the case. Even my lawyer laughed in shock. OJ, that wasn't law. That was the spirit twisting justice. But the deeper I went, the darker it became. My fellow brothers were killers. One boy named Gift brought the severed tongue of an enemy gang member, blood still dripping, just to prove he had done the job. I saw men tortured for debt, forced to sell cars, lands, even their wives' jewelry, just to settle with us. But my soul was decaying. OJ, I prayed at night, but my prayers felt like smoke hitting a closed ceiling. Eventually, I was arrested again. This time, it was a friendly arrest, arranged by corrupt police. They caught me with a small starch, paraded me in court, and sentenced me lightly so the news could show justice at work. Meanwhile, bigger shipments kept moving. But when I came out, I realized I was tired. Tired of blood, tired of lies, tired of demons laughing over my life. I tried to go straight. I left South Africa, went back to Nigeria. With my wife, we opened a new electronic shop. For a while, it felt like maybe God was giving me a second chance. But then came 2020, the lockdown. Shops closed, no customers. Hunger came back, knocking. It was my daughter who brought TikTok into my life. She downloaded the app on my phone for fun. One day I recorded a short video saying, "Touch your screen and your miracle will locate you." The video got 5,000 views. My eyes opened. People started messaging me for prayers. I told them, if you want a miracle, sow a seed. Most of the people sending money were from Nigeria and Ghana. Some in Kumasi believed their uncles bewitched them. Some in Chakra, they thought witches were eating their destinies. They were desperate, and I gave them what they wanted: fake hope. My wife and I staged testimonies. We hired people to act healed. With clever video editing, we made 20 people look like 100 in church. OJ, even some Ghanaians from the diaspora sent dollars. Money began to flow again. But inside me, guilt. At night, I would kneel down, pretending to thank God for provisions, but I knew I was lying. I told myself, when my daughter graduates and goes to Europe, I will stop. She will send us money and we will live clean. But until then, I keep the hustle alive. People will say I'm a pastor, but I know I am worse than a drug dealer. But I tell myself, at least I am not eating human flesh anymore. At least I am not carrying bones of the dead in my pocket compared to those days. This feels like a cleaner sin. Twisted logic, I know. Sometimes I wonder, OJ, is it really me that is wicked? Or is it the people who come running for miracles? They should know are false. They don't want the truth. They don't want to be told to work hard and trust God's timing. They want a shortcut, an instant blessing. And I, OJ, became the shortcut seller. Now I'm here confessing to you, a pastor, a scammer, a man who had eaten human flesh and carried powder made from human bones. Now standing in front of a ring light, pretending to heal. I ask myself daily, OJ, can a man like me ever truly return to Christ? Or am I already too far gone to return? This is youranonymousoj, and if you are new here, I would like you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and hype this channel. And tell somebody about youranonymousoj. I'll see you in our next confession.